Hey everyone, it's Types in Ninja Spinner recently released in Japan. So today we're taking a look at some Ninja Spinner decks in expanded. That's right, we're taking a look at the expanded format here on PokeCard Book. Of course, we are in PokeCard Book, which reports Japanese deck lists and like in the Japanese format. Of course, Ninja Spinner, released in Japan. This is not the international expansion. It is M4, as in the fourth expansion of the Mega Era, the second main set of the year, which will be coming out as Chaos Rising internationally with like Mega Greninja EX and some other cards like, for example, Special Red card here, which I imagine we will see in some decks. We'll get to that when we get there. This is the expanded form, which is mostly played in Japan. It's not played too much internationally, though I know some people play it internationally. Tell me in the comment section if you know anyone who plays expanded, or if you yourself play expanded, and like where and how you do that. I saw someone in my Discord. I don't remember who it was, but they said they played some expanded, but I don't actually know if they were playing against other people also playing expanded, which presumably you'll want to do, but I don't know if that's what was happening. But anyways, we have expanded, which is also like there's a very dominant deck, which is Regidrago. Regidrago is super good. If you're not familiar with the Regidrago V-Star, it's 3 energy on. I'll just say it's 3 energy on stage 1 for simplicity. It's technically not, but it's close enough. And then what you do here is you copy a dragon Pokemon's attack in your discard pile. Of course, there's a very powerful dragon Pokemon. Not sure if you heard of it. It's Dragapult EX. If you haven't heard of it, then you will hear it if you play the Pokemon DCG, especially post rotation. Rotation is today, I think, at the time of releasing this in live. So that's definitely, something that's going to be very dominant. But Regidrago is just super good in expanded, copying attacks like Dragapult EX's Phantom Dive. They're 200 active and 6 damage counters on the bench in any way. Like, you also have some disruptive Pokemon, like, for example, Northern EX, which can special energy lock and stadium lock and a basic wall. We'll see a lot of special energy, specifically double dragon energy. Potentially, I don't know if like the best card in the format. It's very, very good. Potentially the most potentially problematic card in the format. I definitely think it could get banned. But this is also after the Medicham V-ban, which is interesting. Honestly, there hasn't been too much talk about the Medicham V-ban since it was first announced, which even then there wasn't that much talk about it. But anyways, we see cards like Dialga GX as well. Dialga GX is super powerful, letting you take an extra turn and you do a bunch of damage on a GX attack, which is not the same as a V-Star power. I actually recently made a video looking at custom cards, talking about some cards with old mechanics, and V-Stars and GX attacks together are good. You have a V-Star power on Regidrago, which is like pretty decent. But Dialga GX's GX attack getting essentially an extra turn. I mean, you do get an extra turn, but you get like decent damage off that extra turn as well. It's quite good there. Then you see Cure, obviously really difficult to deal with if you can pull it off. We see it in standard with Slowking and post rotation with Slowking. I guess post rotation, or specifically with Ninja Spinner, I think Slowking is getting better. In standard with Metagross is nice and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm definitely not a believer in Slowking because it's kind of inconsistent. But anyways, the same amount standard. But it is about Badoo as well. Badoo is very good as a really good disruptive Pokemon, even in expanded. We see Badoo, see we see Wobbuffet as well. So Badoo, of course, is item lock there, which we also can see with the Northern GX. How many Regidrago V-Star lists are there? We got like 5. So yeah, we got Northern GX as well. Northern GX has some overlap with Northern EX, but also can item lock there. So that can be a way to do item lock with your Regidrago V-Stars, like, your game's kind of up and going there. Badoo's item lock in the early game is quite good. And then on the other hand, you have ability lock. We see ability lock with Wobbuffet. If it's in the active, it's ability locks everything except for psychic Pokemon, which there's a bunch of good ones. There is Latias EX, which we see is still a very good card. We see Marshadow. I don't know. Marshadow's it's not like the most powerful card here. I'll talk about what is used to bump in a second. And then Tapu Lele GX. Tapu Lele GX is like the new Meowth EX. I don't know if I'd say it's the first card like it, but I kind of would. Same HP, same amount of prizes, same stage there. So those would not get ability locked by Wobbuffet, but like everything else will, and that's really really good. Also, we do see from Ascended Heroes slash I don't remember the name of the Japanese expansion that it was Ascended Heroes. I'm going to quickly look at that. That was, yes, Mega Dream. Oh, of course, because the name of the attack on Mega Dragon EX is, I guess, Mega Dream. And so that card is good in Regidrago. It's not absurd. A lot of people talk about it like it was going to be super good. I mean, it is good. It's seeing play in a bunch of these lists, but we still see something like Koraidon EX, which does something kind of similar. And we see on the other big attacker, we see not really. We do see Mega Dragalge EX. So this is pretty cool. This is the first, not the first of the Mega Dragons. I think the second. We had Mega Latias EX as well, but this one it just got all tools and special energy attached to all your opponent's Pokemon. I don't know if this is good, but I think it kind of is. Also like the main ace spec or one of the main ace specs is Megaton Blower, which discards all stadiums or yeah, all stadiums, tools, and special energy. I think it discards your own stadium, but not the other one. So it'll discard, like it won't discard your own special energy, but it'll discard all your opponent's special energy there. So it's definitely a really nice card there, with special energy being super good. Double Dragon Energy, by the way, if you don't know, is just 2 energy on of any type on or I guess of every type on a Dragon Pokemon there. So that's good. In terms of energy, you do see like Crispin, but Double Dragon Energy is going to be the main way you do it. We see Crispin, we see Raihan as well. And that's, played in these decks, but you are setting up like behind Badoo, attaching twice, things like that there. I'm not going to go over literally everything in this deck, but want to go over some, the important parts of Regidrago, which is a very important deck in the format. Then we got the next deck here. With Mega Dragalge as well, you can do 16 poison, which is pretty cool. We see Pheasantipede EX in every. Yeah, well, okay, we see Pheasantipede EX or Oricorio EX in every deck. Oh yeah, Oricorio EX, sorry, Oricorio GX, which also can't get ability locked by what's it called, by Wobbuffet. Also, I miscounted. There's 6 decks, not 5, but whatever. So then we got Lugia here. Lugia is also very good. The same set as Regidrago, another V-Star. So this allows you to cheat Archetypes into play. Essentially, just accelerate a ton of special energy. And we see double Dragon Energy as well as double Colorless Energy, which are both exactly what they sound like if you're not familiar with them. And then we also see Silent Lab and Path to the Peak. Yeah, these stadiums are really important to Expanded. They ability lock. Silent Lab ability locks all basics, and then Path to the Peak ability locks all rule box Pokemon, and these are most of the best Pokemon in the format. I mentioned like Latias EX and Pheasantipede EX / Oricorio GX. You also have Tapu Lele GX, Crobat V Dedenne GX, and Squawk ability EX as well. And I mean, there's just so many that are so good. Those are going to be the main ones there, though. But these just crazy powerful basic support Pokemon in Silent Lab and Path to Peak will be stopping those there. We also see the this Clefairy of this mysterious unknown type that shall not be named here. But that's honestly a cool card. And then we see, obviously, a bunch of dragons. And we also see Double Dragon Energy, as I said, as well. Oh, and we see Mega Latias EX here as well, doing big damage. Definitely a card that is, in my opinion, kind of cool. And I think fits Expanded a lot better, being, this big, powerful, aggressive, flashy Pokemon that is a little awkward to set up, especially repeatedly. But here it's not awkward to set up repeatedly. And you can also pull this off turn going second through the use of Wally, which is pretty cool. Ultimately, Lugia is kind of cool. Definitely a deck with some really big explosive plays, which I think really represents Expandable. Oh, we also see Miss Mischievous. We see Fluttermane, which also ability locks. As I said, ability lock and item lock and things like this are super good in the format. And yeah, you'll see them a lot in every deck. This is, I think, the biggest difference between Expanded and Standard. In Standard, we see some disruption. You'll see like Badoo, Iono, which is also rotated, and I mean, there's like Boss, but I wouldn't really count that as a disruption card. Tell me in the comment section if there's anything else big I'm missing that's like a big disruption card. But Badoo's part of your game plan, and we see that in Expanded here, but you don't see like energy disruption that much in Standard. You don't see like various forms of lock that much outside of Badoo there, which you do see a bunch, but as I said, that's like the main one. So in Expanded, you're going to see these a lot more interspersed with other very aggressive options. So we'll see a lot of pseudo control versus in Standard. I guess you will, see energy disruption and things like that in Control and decks that are like that, but in Expanded, the decks are kind of mixed together, which is pretty interesting there. Then we see, some more Lugia. Then we see the other Archeops deck here, which is Iron Thorns with Archeops. This deck you use, I think it's Pokemon Research Lab is the name of the card, which like gets the fossils into play, and you use this to get your Archons into play, and then you evolve them to Archeops, and then you have this toolbox, and you have we see Prism Energy. Prism Energy, by the way, is not new. If you're not familiar, it's not new to Black Bolt, White Flare. I don't know, one of those. It's new to standard, but it did come out earlier. It wasn't expanded. I guess it's new to live expanded though. By the way, this is like full expanded. Oh, which is black and white on. If you didn't know, live expanded is only Sun and Moon on. They are going to start to work on something this year for live. That's what they said. I don't remember when they said. I think they said at the beginning of the year. They did not give a very, or I think they announced rotation, which I don't remember when they announced rotation. Like we knew when rotation was like the whole time, but then they announced it at some point, officially. Anyways, we also see Guzman Hala, which is a tag team supporter. If you don't know how tag team supporters work, they don't necessarily work differently than regular cards. But they all share the fact that they do something, usually something pretty bad, like the power level of an item when you play them, but then you can like discard some cards to get some other nice effect, and then they're quite good. So they are definitely interesting to keep an eye out for. Specifically, Guzman Hala, which I believe is the generally best special energy searching card. Obviously in standard you got like Hilda and closest Tenacity, which can search special energies, but this one Hala is actually pretty similar to closest Tenacity. If you've played GLC, you know that those cards are both good in a similar way. But Guzman Hala also gets you that tool, and the tool can get you Force Seal Stone as well, which like gets you set up. Force Seal Stone, by the way, super good card. Essentially, it searches for any card on a tool. It uses your Vista power, which is once per game, but it's very very good. Then we got our first new deck, Mega Greninja EX. If you're not familiar, Mega Greninja EX has its attack for 2 water, which does 200 essentially. And then you also have your ability here, which you can use if you're in the active. You can use multiple in a turn. I'm not really sure if stack is probably not doing that. But anyways, you can power this up using. I also see super boost energy or whatever, the Prism Star, which can pay Mega Ninja in 1 attachment, but you need like 3 stage 2s or something like that, which like seems kind of hard here. But anyways, we also. Oh wait, are you supposed to set up your board with Kingdra? Maybe I'm getting this wrong. Maybe you set up your board with Kingdra. So anyways, the card you want to use here though is potentially my favorite card in the Pokemon TCG, or at least the card with the most fun gameplay pattern, which is Archie's Ace in the Hole. I actually really like the other one as well, Max's in Ball Trick. That's banned. So anyways, Archie's Ace in the Hole says you can only play this if it's the last card in your hand. You gotta, manipulate your hand a lot and get it low there. But then from there, you put a water Pokemon from your discard pile straight onto your bench, then you draw 5 cards. So this cheats evolution here. It's very good. Theoretically, it's obviously kind of awkward to get set up, but it is really fun. Been using cards like Battle Compressor, Versus Seeker, and various forms, various like items that kind of get you going, which is really fun. Doing these like more aggressive item gameplay patterns. They are, I don't know if I'd say fragile, but they can kind of fall off. But then you have Kingdra EX as well. Kingdra EX is a card I have not played with. I know a lot of people have talked about this card and really hyped it up. Tell me in the comment section actually if you played Kingdra EX specifically with King's Order. Let's see, has it seen any like competitive play? Not really. So anyways, you for 1 water, put up to 3 water Pokemon to your discard pile onto your bench. So theoretically you could get, and then Hydro Pump is 54 for each water attached to it. Hydro Pump is okay, yeah. So I guess the idea is turn 1 going second. You wanna Arches in a whole Kingdra EX, spin your Greninjas, and then you can also attack with Kingdra EX as well for a bunch of damage. You can honestly one-shot most things because you attach Super Boost energy or whatever, the one that provides 4 of any type if you got a bunch of stage 2s in play, and then you're hitting for 200 for that, and then obviously the base of 50, so 250. Then you can get extra energies on with Aqua Patch there, which doesn't seem too hard to get like 1 or 2 energies on there. And then we also have, I just realized it like barely has any basics. It plays 3 Squawk, which is really fun as well. And then you get Mega Greninja EX onto your board as well, which are going to get extra damage counters on your opponent's board. And then I guess you switch. You have like a few switching options, I suppose. We see turn board, which is like fine. I mean, it's essentially a free retreating tool. And then we also see 1 escape rope and 2 Guzma. That's it. So I don't know how much switching you're actually doing to enable Greninja EX, because I don't know how much you're attacking with it either. If you're attacking with it a lot, then it seems nice. But also, maybe it probably depends on the matchup, exactly how you're going to go about this. You could go for a turn 1 Mega Greninja EX as well. Also, streaming Mega Greninja EXs it seems a little awkward because you use Aqua Patch, which is the same as like Wonders Patch, stuff like that, where it accelerates to the bench. And so you need to be, again, on the bench there. That's not too bad to do. But if you're attacking back to back with the same Pokemon, it seems a little awkward. And if you're getting knocked out every turn, then presumably you're going to lose a bit too quickly there. So I don't know. It's really interesting here. Really, really cool deck, but I'm not exactly sure how good this is, how practical this is. But it's really cool. Then we got Mega Venusaur with a regular Venusaur and some grass stuff here. And yeah, pretty much Mega Venusaur moves the energy around, which is nice. You want to get it on whatever. Honestly, you got the big tag team, which is like fine. It can take some extra prize and stuff. But then you also have the Venusaur to double the energy. Team Sugar Upon EX, I'm sure, can be just like one-shotting stuff super easily. So definitely a really fun deck here. Overall, I feel like Grass is, or I guess this like Grass Shell is a little clunky slash awkward slash slow, but definitely really cool. Also, all grass Pokemon pretty fun. I don't know if there's a reason for that. I mean, yes, you got net ball and bug catching stat, which are good. So I guess I do like the grass shell. I mean, I've talked a lot about Fighting Gong. Fighting Gong and net ball are like the same, but different types there. Also, by the way, it is net ball and not nest ball. They're like, it's kind of annoying that the card names are so similar, and they're kind of similar in functionality as well. But anyways, yeah, with netball there, that is good alongside bug catching. That bug catching set's a little inconsistent. Netball is not. It's a little potentially weaker, but it is quite. We got Gardevoir with Mega Gardevoir. Interesting. We got Chimecho as well. I don't even remember what Chimecho does. It does. Let's find it here. Oh, I'm not in English. Here it is. Oh yeah, so this one stops your opponent from playing Pokemon abilities. Definitely, again, another one of these like controlling cards that we see kind of like Badoo. We see Wobbuffet as well, that are pretty substantially disruptive. Also, Lotus Clefairy EX it is pretty good. I mean, in terms of trading and like trading with Dragapult and stuff, we talk about that in Standard all the time. But then it expanded. It is very good against Regidrago and is like a way to deal with that. And then we also see Gengar Mimikyu Technique GX, which by the way, its GX attack stops your opponent from playing any cards on their next turn. So that's like kind of good. And also kind of annoying and kind of broken. Then we got Dragapult. We also see, what's the next deck? Charizard. These both use the Inteleon engine. It's kind of like the Knockdown engine, except it doesn't have any prerequisites, except it's a little weaker in terms of like, you're not getting as many cards there, but you don't need a Terra in place. Definitely a really fun engine, really nice for Stage 2 decks. Obviously, Dragapult EX just straight up a like good card and a good deck with a good engine, good damage, all of that. And you have essentially 4 Neo Upper Energies that aren't A-Specs on Double Dragon Energy there. Double Dragon Energy, so powerful there. And look at Charizard. Charizard doing Charizard stuff. We see the single prize Charizard, which is kind of interesting. I guess it's here, I think, just as a single prizer. Maybe not. Maybe it's here for the energy doubling ability. Because then you can just accelerate 1 to Charizard, but that doesn't seem that useful. I'm sure there's some situation when that is useful, but definitely an interesting deck here. I have actually played in live expanded Inteleon Charizard. Pretty fun deck. You don't have. There's like some cards that you don't have, but it is very fun and definitely a deck I would actually recommend trying out in live expanded. Then we got Slowking here. Slowking in expanded is cool. You got Magcargo, which is like it's like half a second from code breaking, I guess. I mean, you search for one card, put it on top of your deck. I guess it's the same as the new Crobat as well, I think. But anyways, we got this card, which is quite good. And then you have some powerful options. Obviously, you have Kyurem, which is really nasty to deal with. And then you also have Yveltal. Yveltal just instantly knocks out your opponent's active. I will mention if your opponent has some way to stop effects or attacks, they'll just stop this, which seems possible, but I guess it's probably not that likely. And yeah, we also see Max Survive. Max Survive puts a Pokemon for you discard on top of your deck, like super good here. So looking definitely kind of fun. You have Dimension Valley as well to discount your attack costs. You're using Dimension Valley plus an attachment to swing there, which really helps with the issue of not being able to attack with Slowking like half the time in Standard. We've got Blissey with the Bouffalant. This is the last deck here, just a tanky deck, and you're Bouffalanting and using Blissey V. Blissey V does damage based on energy attached and accelerates more and pretty much you want to accelerate energy to this Pokemon throughout the course of the game and protect your Blissey V, give it some extra HP, you to the best of your ability stop your opponent from one-shotting it. If they're one-shotting all the time, that's bad, but you're, running 4 Path to the Peak. Oh, I will also mention Pokemon Ranger. I completely forgot about this card. Pokemon Ranger, also, if you're not familiar with this card, also, by the way, like super confusing, or I don't know if super confusing. I definitely say it's a little confusing. Maybe I'm just being silly here, but it removes all effects of attacks on each player on his or her Pokemon. So it's on the Pokemon, right? I imagine most people are generally familiar with effects on Pokemon. For example, you could have, an effective attack that says attack next turn, or an effective attack that says that you trying to think like can't retreat. Those are the main ones I'm thinking of. There are also ones like that do something when they happen, like damage counters being placed, or like inflicting a special condition. But that's like this doesn't remove that because that's an effective attack when it happens, but it's just a thing on the board after that. But you'll see some effects of attacks, and so this will remove those. But then the big thing is removing the effects of attacks on players. I don't think there are huge ones that removes outside of item lock, but there is. Well, okay, I think there are other ones like special energy lock as well. But in terms of effects on Pokemon, tell me if there's something I'm missing here that's really big that Pokemon Ranger stops. I don't know. I know there is also ADP. I'll mention that in expanded when I played a while ago. People are playing a bunch of ADP, and it was very good in standard at one point, and so Pokemon Ranger was a counter to that. But it's also counter to Badoo. So yeah, this is actually a legitimate Badoo counter, and that's pretty interesting to see here. But ultimately, I feel like the format is okay. I kind of get why people don't play it. It's a little hard to get cards as well. I mean, you can't really get them from like stores because they just like don't have these cards because like who's gonna have these cards, right? Because no one plays it, but then no one plays it, so no one has these cards, right? So it's a bit of an unfortunate situation, but the format is kind of cool with some interesting gameplay and definitely something I would recommend checking out and just learning more about even if you're not playing it because it can help you with standard and other formats. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like and subscribe. It really helps support me. It really helps support the channel. But I also do hope you enjoyed, and as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.